Okay, we're live.
All right, welcome back to the House Environment Committee. We are going to have a bill introduction, H204, an act relating to the collection of and recycling of waste motor vehicle tires with Representative Taylor. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate the time today. Just a little bit of background. This bill has been introduced in the past. I believe it was introduced last biennium by Senator White. So it's been around a little bit. I'll read my testimony and you'll see why I'm kind of bringing it back up and around again. So I'm pleased to present H204, a bill to establish an extended producer responsibility program for waste motor vehicle tires in Vermont. This legislation tackles a growing environmental and health challenge by requiring tire manufacturers to manage their products' end-of-life disposal. The need for this bill is undeniable. During last Green Up Day in Milton, volunteers collected a massive number of discarded tires, revealing the extent of improper disposal across Vermont. These tires pose serious threats to both our environment and public health. They litter our landscapes, leach toxic chemicals into soil and waterways, and degrade habitats for wildlife. Piles of tires also increase fire risks, releasing harmful pollutants if ignited. Health-wise, water pooling in them breeds mosquitoes, with a single tire potentially producing thousands daily, spreading diseases like West Nile virus, Eastern equine encephalitis, and Zika, endangering our communities. H204 creates a waste tire stewardship program under 10 VSA Chapter 169. Manufacturers will have to register with the Agency of Natural Resources by July 1, 2026, and submit plans for free tire collection, either on their own or through stewardship organizations by October 1st, 2026. Starting January 1st, 2027, only tires from compliant manufacturers can be sold in Vermont. The program ensures free drop-off at collection sites, accepting up to 12 tires per visit, with at least 2 facilities in every county. It aims for a 50% collection rate right from the start, with half of those tires collected needing to be recycled or reused. Beyond collection, the bill mandates annual reports starting March 1st, 2028, detailing tire sales, collections, and management methods, plus 5-year audits beginning in 2032 to keep the program efficient and effective. This isn't uncharted territory for Vermont. We've already proven EPR's work with successful programs for electronics, mercury-containing lamps, and hazardous household products. Connecticut paved the way as the first U.S. state to launch a tire EPR program in 2024, and H204 builds on that model tailored to Vermont's needs. It reduces taxpayer burden, curbs illegal dumping, and safeguards our environment and health, all while keeping Vermont clean. Thank you, and I hope you consider H204 further.
Thank you.
For taking any questions. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to answer, but I'll do my best.
I guess I'm curious what you can tell us about Connecticut's program. Like how, is it like a paint program where you have $4 a tire and then, or how does it pay for itself?
I believe it's similar to some of the programs that we have here for our EPRs. I'm sure, obviously, when a cost gets when a cost is raised for a company, they obviously will raise probably the cost for the consumer. But the Connecticut land does have verbiage in there that asks to, if other states start doing the same EPR type of program, to kind of connect with them and figure out more efficient ways to handle things.
Representative Norris and then Richard.
Yeah. So I think you stated that half the collected tires need to be recycled or reused.
Yes.
Yeah. So is there a market for recycled or reused tires?
I'm not, there's in the Connecticut plan, I know one of their things that they asked in their bill was to look at utilizing them for roads and asphalt. So there's definitely a use for them.
Okay. So what, if that's the case, why are there so many tires laying around now? I mean, why don't they get recycled or reused?
Great question. Great question.
Okay. Let's see. I had another question. I can't think of it. So go to that person. Maybe I'll think of it.
Representative Richard.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to, I was in the car business for a long time. Once we did tire swap over, we usually kept those tires.
Mm-hmm.
The customer paid a fee,
disposal fee, right?
and there was a large outfit in Mattapoisett, Mass that would come up and did all the Rutland County folks that I know. So I'm trying to think how big of a problem are these? I mean, are these just the tires from years ago we used to throw in the quarries and stuff like that? Or these?
Anecdotally, I can say in Milton, it's been a huge problem.
It's constant.
And municipalities are being forced to handle it on their own and burden the cost burden on them. And yeah, so I was amazed at the amount of tires that were pulled out of ditches and
And green up year over year. If you live where I do, people go into the national forest and dump and we'll blow them out. Representative Logan.
Yeah, I'm curious about why this has increased in intensity. It seems like probably because folks can buy tires online for less than they would at a tire store where they would be expected to recycle their old tires and pay a fee for it.
You know, still have to have something
Yeah.
to put them on. Though.
Yeah. Representative Bartholomew.
Do you have any idea why this hasn't moved in the past? You said it's been introduced before.
I don't. And I figured now that Connecticut has come on board and actually passed something for their state, it would definitely be a thing that Vermont should look at again.
Do you know if either body ever passed it?
I don't believe so,
Like this,
Yeah.
okay.
but I'm not positive.
Representative North.
Yeah, so usually these EPR things kind of work on the basis of if you buy something, you're expected to return that same thing. So it's kind of a real time, but there's this huge backlog inventory of old tires around. Are they gonna be able to handle this influx of all this old stuff that's laying around? Or would that be an expectation that they would handle?
Yeah, the bill as written has some wording in there about tire what's called in there, tire legacy piles, I believe is what they call it. And there's provisions on how to work through those piles, not right up front, but kind of, as a process.
Representative Pritchard.
So does this require the manufacturer to take them back?
It requires the manufacturer to come up with some kind of a stewardship program, similar to our household toxic waste products, where you can bring it to a depot.
Any questions? Thanks, Representative Taylor.
Rita, did you have one? I saw your
did,
finger go, I'm
I-
sorry.
Sorry.
Representative Austin.
It was joking.
Just, I don't know if I don't think it was in here because I read through it, but is there any recycling? Is there any way it can be reused?
Yeah, definitely. Connecticut is looking at utilizing it for their asphalt.
Their asphalt.
Yeah, to mix it in with asphalt. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other ways. I don't
There
have
are.
that information off my head.
Oh, okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you
Thanks for the
so
time.
much.
Thanks.
Right, members, that completes our work for the day. Any questions or discussion? Representative Sakowitz.
In terms of like, why do we have all these tires around even now? I'm wondering if it's because in Vermont, so many of us switch our tires out every 6 months. And I bet a lot of tires get abandoned. You have a set of tires in your car, in your garage, you sell that car. It doesn't have enough tread left to be worth giving to somebody else or selling. And so they just end up abandoned and people don't want to pay to get rid of them.
Does anybody know of any operations that do collect tires? Like, has anybody seen where, there are operations in Vermont, or like you said, that we come into Vermont and pick up tires?
Well, Representative Pritchard just mentioned that what happens when you take it to the mechanics, you do pay $2, to get rid of the tires.
Use who? It's like to.
Seven, my tires have obviously lasted too long. But
We have a big metal container. Yeah. And we put them in it, and then once in a while, it's the Bud's tire will come in, and they're huge. They have their trucks they come from Cape Cod. And they go to Burlington and the areas, but if people wanted to drop them off to us, we would accept them. And then they would but normally it's on this, if they go to a tire store or a dealership, during the process of the switchover, if they're no good, you know, they're no good, you know, and we'll tell them, you know, they're done. You won't be able to use these next year. Okay, get rid of them. Well, it'll be $7 back. That's okay. Get rid
That's
of them.
why.
We usually retain most of them.
Because it's $7 each. That's why
Right.
we're seeing more.
Yeah.
I mean, with like paint, it happens up front. And I think that's another way of getting at this.
at the time of purchase.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's required to take them back, and my experience is that with certain mechanics who will do tire changeovers, if they're not selling you tires, they won't take your tire even for a fee. So I think it's really different mechanic to mechanic, and so there is no sort of state system to require
That's what it's
manufacturers or retailers to take them back. Some folks do.
Well, years ago, with all the
Everyone who sells
farms,
tires seems
we used to,
take them.
when I worked at you know, one of the dealerships in Manchester, we took them to the farmers. They wanted them, so we gave them to them.
Silage.
Silence.
But now most of the farms are gone and they got it's not like the tires degrade for that purpose, so.
You know, havens too.
Yeah, there's just not a comprehensive system to make sure people have options to get rid of their tires.
Yeah.
Are
In the
they
old day, they
mandated?
used to do retreads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some tires still retread.
Cables, yeah, they still do some of it.
They used to do retreads and
But there's a lot of uses for it. I mean, those black mats that you see at Tractor Supply, they're recycled tires. And that's like a lot of the farmers have mats for their cows. They're made out of recycled tires.
Are they mandated to be recycled? No, so they could just go to the dump or, wow.
For $7.
All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.